Do you have proof of that?
Well, good afternoon. I'm John Kraft, and this is Kirk Allen with Aiken County Watchdogs. And tonight, we're going to talk about the forensic audit or the investigative findings from the audit performed on the Fort Iroquois Public Health Department.
Quite a laundry list of stuff they found.
Yes.
We ever talked about any of that?
Every bit of it.
It's interesting, the firm that did the forensic audits, the same firm that had been doing the same agency's audits for years. So it's kind of interesting that they hadn't found any of this before a forensic, and it really points to the difference between a forensic audit and a normal audit. Forensics find this type of stuff, a normal audit doesn't. So when people say, oh, they passed their audits, it doesn't mean a whole lot unless it was a forensic audit.
Let's see. What would they find? Executive summary findings. Money to be spent for goods and services for which it was not always intended.
It'd be like beer at the gas station and stop at Casey's on the way home to pick up party supplies.
Procurement laws circumvented for a significant grant-funded project.
Was that the solar panel?
Yeah. Billing errors totaling $101,823. State and federal grants to be charged for personal hours that were not devoted to the benefit of the grant's goals.
Gosh, we ran an article on that, didn't we?
Yeah, and they signed a paper saying it was going to be spent exclusively for that.
Yep.
A budget not representative of how monies were actually spent or how programs would operate. Policies and procedures to be revised by management without board approval.
Yep, we talked about that.
Board approval to expansion into Indiana for home health services not allowed under Illinois state statutes. Of course, we were crazy when we brought that up.
Yep, we didn't know what we were talking about.
Employee confusion among their duties. He's probably talking about the director on that.
Has to be.
Department leaders that were not responsible for the financial results of the departments. And an apparent hostile work environment that fostered mistrust among the current employees.
Didn't we talk about a hostile work environment?
Yes, we did.
We did articles on that too. Wow.
So here's what some of the things they searched. Emails based on the following search terms: bonus budget, Edgar County Watchdog, flood grant override raise, solar panels, time study, tobacco, Iroquois County, and certain employee names.
Now the detailed finding. This is where it gets interesting. Internal control issues related to the control environment and application controls that allow taxpayer money to be dispersed not in compliance with the department's policies or Illinois state statutes. If you have any doubt on what we've reported, just type in Fort Iroquois Public Health Department and you can look up any article we ever wrote, and what you're going to find is everything that we're presenting in this forensic audit tonight, we've written articles on it and told that public body for at least a year what was going on, and they did nothing.
That's because we were just picking on them. We had nothing better to do.
Yep. What's that first one here?
State statutes over procurement for the grant fund solar panel project. The Schedule 1 sets forth a timeline. What is that, this?
Yep. Sets a timeline to develop for review of employee emails for the award of this project prior to the publication of the request for proposal. What do you call that?
Bid rigging.
Yep, bid rigging. Amounts paid to vendor totaled $95,430 before state grant reimbursement. Vendor is partly owned by the husband of an employee. Bids were received from Day and Night Solar, but the contract was awarded to a related entity, CMS Renewables.
Did we do a story on that?
Yes. And I think that one generated a cease and desist letter from their attorney. That was from Day and Night Solar and CMS. They got
somewhere in here it says that once we caught on to that, they changed the registered names of the office holders within the companies.
Yep, we had a listing of all the names of all the officers in the corporate filings. They weren't happy when we found this one. Gift card purchases. Wait a minute, I thought, who was it, Preacher Man said there wasn't anything wrong with the gift cards they used.
Yeah.
That's not what this says.
Well, he might.
They use gift cards for dinners. Wait a minute, can't you do that? No, you can't. That's why it's in the forensic audit, pointing out things that were wrong. Additionally, one gift card totaling $500 was improperly used to compensate an individual for services provided.
Didn't they say he preferred to be paid that way?
That's to avoid taxes.
They never did mention the tax avoidance on that one either.
Yep.
And whether he was drawing any other type of special reimbursement that he might have gone over the earnings limit and they would have cut that off. Of course, they never mentioned that.
But we did do an article on that $500 gift card, and we pointed that out early on.
Yeah. Rent payments totaling $2,400 to include an $800 deposit to rent offices in Indiana. Note that the department is not allowed under statute to expend Illinois taxpayer funds to provide services to benefit citizens of other states. We did one on that too.
We did one on that too.
What else you got?
It's hard to believe. Time charged in excess of time worked on the public health and preparedness for bioterrorism grant totaled $1,682 and $4,758 was charged in excess for the Illinois tobacco-free communities. Who was in charge of that tobacco program? Julie Clark.
That's right.
Yeah, the one that lived like 300 miles south of the county that she was getting paid to work in.
Here's one.
And it was her husband that owned the solar panel. We don't want to forget that.
Yeah. Here's one. IMRF and FICA totaling $101,823 already reimbursed by the counties, also charged to individual grant programs.
And we pointed that one out during the meetings that they were.
But they said it was an error, so.
Yeah.
Error of judgment, maybe. So.
Based on our investigation, these issues appear to have occurred and not been detected due to management's override of controls and the underlying lack of segregation of duties and lack of effective board oversight. Now, why is that important? Who's in charge of the administrator?
The board.
So where's the buck stop?
Buck stops with the board.
Ford County board members said there was nothing wrong. In fact, the other night when this was presented at the meeting, Preacher Man, Ted Jensen, who sat on this board for 20 plus years, insisted that none of this was his fault. This was the state's fault, I think is how he put it. And the county and the state for not letting them know things.
It's always somebody else's fault.
With him it is. Now in Dr. Brucker's defense, he did apologize. He's acknowledged there were things that were done wrong and they are taking steps to fix it. Teddy Jensen, no way. He will never admit that he's done wrong. Nor will he admit that he lied to the Ford County Board, and this audit proves that the information he presented to him wasn't accurate.
Well, when he gets to them pearly gates, he'll have to admit it.
It's just amazing. Everything we've written on is in this report.
Yeah, it sure is. So let's go back to this solar panel timeline here. June 24th, 2011 starts the email trail talking about they don't need to go public for purchases over $10,000. Wrong.
We FOIA'd all those emails. We didn't get that email. You know what that means?
June 29, they had another email taking care of solar panel applications. June 30, day and night emails, health department about solar applications. June 30, health department emails day and night and ready to move forwards. July 1, day and night emails, health department to fill out correct information. July 7, Health Department emails day and night to meet after the Board of Health meeting on July 18. Was that a secret meeting that they didn't let anybody know about?
It sure sounds that way.
Those type of meetings have to be in public.
And none of those emails were received in our FOIA, which means they withheld those intentionally because that would have exposed and validated the articles we wrote on this even more so.
Does that mean they lied to the judge?
Yes. Well, that I'm not sure if that grant was on that particular request we sued them over or not.
July 18. Contract signed by administrator on July 1.
Yep, that's out of the minutes on July 18th. So they signed a contract July 1. When did they put this out for bid?
July 25, they contacted Angel Wind Energy after they already knew they signed a contract. July 28, they asked the newspaper about putting it in the paper. July 29,
Day and Night Solar turns in quotes. Wait a minute, they already gave the contract to Day and Night.
yeah.
So why are they turning in quotes a
A
month
month
later?
earlier, they signed a contract with them. November 15, they send out connectivity contracts. And then that was 2011. In March 20, Health Department sends out information regarding solar issues posted on the Edgar County Watchdog site. So that's when they,
That was one of the first stories we ran.
yeah, that's when they lied to the public about the solar panels.
Absolutely.
March 20, the Health Department addresses our questions. And they lied again.
And not only they address the questions, it references that the managing member of Day and Nights and CMS Renewables change. That's when that corporate information changed on their corporate officers that are listed with the state. So they knew what they were doing.
Within a week after we submitted our FOIA request, they changed corporate office. Like we're not going to find out.
And we did find out.
March 24. That's when we asked him about the July 1 signed contract.
Yeah. And the contract from CMS is indicated in the minutes, but that wasn't, I mean, they had Day and Night and CMS co-mingling those two operations. It's just, it is absolutely amazing. What do they recommend? A total overhaul of the responsibilities and authority of the department.
That's already been done.
Isn't that what Rod Copus did?
Yeah.
A total overhaul of the board members who absolutely failed at their duties. Unbelievable.
And the administrator.
The department shall calculate all overbilled amounts of IMRF and FICA for all grants and contact the granting agencies to determine if the funds need to be paid back or could be allocated to other grant-funded expenditures. That means the money that they've committed fraud on has to be paid back. Contact those entities. Well, I brought that up at the meeting the other night, and that absolutely needs to happen because that was my tax money and that was your tax money that was fraudulently used. And the people of Illinois should get their money back. That's the way the law works. Now, we'll see how they handle it up there because they tried to weasel their way out of it and say, well, maybe they won't make us pay it back. I want to know when somebody's going to get prosecuted. I mean,
Good luck with that one.
the forensic audit validated everything we did, everything we reported on, and now it's time for the state's attorney, and we do understand higher authorities are in fact looking at this. We can't say any more than that, but we do know that they are, and hopefully somebody's going to be held accountable for the fraud they committed on the people. Anything else?
No.
I think that pretty much sums it up. Have a good one. Till next time.
See ya.